Friends, good morning again, and I welcome you back to this class of video lecture. This is MA Previous English Literature, and we have been doing a very famous poem written by John Donne, metaphysical poet, and the title of the poem is Valediction Forbidding Mourning. So we have done this stanza where the movement of the lovers is compared to the movement of the spheres so remote in the space, and just as movement of the spheres in the space does not bring out any harm, in the same way the movement of the true lovers does not bring out any harm and damage to true love. So that's why the poet says that the moving of the earth, as during an earthquake, causes harm and gives rise to great fears. People calculate the damage it does, but the movement of the spheres brings out no damage, and people are not afraid of it. It is like the trepidation of the spheres, that is, oscillation of the earth around its planets. Right? This trepidation doesn't do any harm to mankind. As the oscillation of the earth, as the oscillation of the spheres is harmless, so is this parting of ours. So I come to this stanza, dull sublunary lovers love, whose soul its sense cannot admit absence, because it doth remove those things which alimented it. Insensitive lovers, ordinary lovers, earthly lovers, whose object of love is confined, or those whose love is confined only to the senses, cannot endure the absence of the object of their love. For absence removes the physical self of the beloved, on which their love is based. That's why ordinary love cannot tolerate separation, because they love only the physical pleasures, the sensual pleasures, the carnal pleasures. That's why the poet says they are called dull sublunary. Right? So moving on to the next stanza, I caught or I read the stanza that's very important. But we by love so much refined. This is, but their love, you see, the love which prevails between the lover and the beloved has been that much spiritual and refined that even they themselves do not understand its real nature. But we by love so much refined that ourselves know not what is it. Even they are not able to recognize what kind of love it is. Interassured of the mind, careless eyes, lips, and hands to miss. And moving on to the superb use of metaphysical conceit and imagery, what does John Donne say over here? That their love is so spiritual and refined that even they themselves do not understand its real nature. It is a mystery even to them. This is very important. True love remains a mystery even to true lovers. They are so sure of each other's soul that physical self, eyes, ears, lips, hands, etc., does not matter at all to them. Theirs is a spiritual passion, and it is not affected at all by the absence of the beloved. This is very important part of the poem, that the lover, the true lover, who represents the passion of love, comes to this realization that Their union is that much spiritual, their union is that much platonic, is that much, it could be felt on the ground of minds, that they are so sure of each others, they are well, confident of that union, that all these external physical objects like eyes, lips, ears, self, the existence of the body, the existence of the carnal pleasures, do not matter at all. There is a spiritual passion, and it is not affected at all by the absence of the beloved. That's why this is very important stanza of this poem. But we by love so much refined, in canonization, John Donne says that we are made such by that call us what you will. That's why, following the same tradition, here the poet says, but we by love, we have been that much refined, we are that much spiritual in our union, that ourselves, even we do not know what we are, what we have been transformed into. You see, this is the point of conscience or consciousness where the lovers forget of themselves, and they mingle into that entity where there is no idea of anything. Male forgets his sex, female forgets his sex. Who is male and who is female? This is not the question of thou and you, it is the question of we. They become one entity, right? Are two souls, therefore, which are one. Though I must go, endure not yet a breach, but an expansion like gold to airy thinness beat. So this is another typical stanza of the poem which highlights or which elevates the passion of love. The poet says that love has fused their souls into one. Therefore, even if he has to go away, their souls would not be separated. Their spirits would not get separated. His absence wouldn't cause any breach. Breach means expansion, separation. His absence would not cause any breach, any separation in their love. Rather, his going only means that their love would cover a larger area, just as gold, when beaten, does not break but expands wider and wider. This is metaphysical conceit. This is the superb example of metaphysical conceit, that the separation between the two lovers is compared to gold, which, when it is beaten, it doesn't get broken, rather, it covers a wider area for further use, right? So these are some of the terrific, very important stanzas of the poem. Again I read this stanza. Are two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet a breach, but an expansion like gold to airy thinness beat. You know, the separation is compared to beating of gold. This is metaphysics. This is unnatural comparisons. This is something very uncommon comparisons which are used by these metaphysical poets, and that's why this poetry is ranked as something extraordinary, school of literature that appeared in the beginning of the 17th century, right?